with Disney announcing that it has a landmark deal with Kugali.
Let's go to the happy story.
Happy, happy.
All right, I'm good with that. Me too. So you can run that B-roll if you want. There's a bunch
Video
of
sex,
digital
right? I
comics there.
believe it's
Yeah,
video
yeah.
sex,
Let's
right?
play that first.
An intruder.
The idea was that in the science fiction genre, there were hardly any black people. It was as though they were passing on this message that there are no black people in the future.
What is the meaning of this? Protect the general. Give your life if you must.
Musicians and writers decided that they were going to create their own genre, Afrofuturism, which presents a future where black people do, in fact, exist.
Siki Nelson. Let's see if I can get the names. Yes.
We have a story where someone from Senegal is creating a space opera. He didn't create ships to look like American jet fighters. His ships look like boats, the boats they used for fishing in Senegal.
The way we understand life is through stories. The way we get meaning in life is through our stories. The way we kind of structure ourselves in society through the stories we tell ourselves.
So what I find so interesting, yeah, that's all.
Sorry.
What I find so interesting about this story is that it took them 2 years of them going after Disney and going, not like going towards Disney, but like making jokes at them. 2 years on, and Disney, instead of battling Abraham and his colleagues, have announced a collaboration. It's the first time that it will work with African storytellers to create an animated series set on the continent. So that's what's more relevant. It's not just black people doing it, and it's more like, let's explore an entire culture finally. And I know that there's some shows that we have now which have done a pretty good job. I would say that I there's some people with criticisms, but Lovecraft Country did a great job doing.
I love the logo.
Yeah, it's Afrofuturism. Like, I
Yes.
think that's what some people don't quite get. That for me, of course, they're gonna go into the more relevant episode first and second. It was the first and second episodes that have to do with like the Green Book and all this stuff, like crossing boundaries in different states. But the rest of it is a futuristic Indiana Jones, like all those little stories that I wanted a black person to be in. And that's all I felt like when I watched it. I was like, I feel empowered that I read books that were centered around fantasy and around all of that, and we exist. Like, in a way, it's almost like we exist. We're a group of people who kind of like dorky stuff too.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, it all has to come back to Black Panther, because that's when they actually started seeing, oh my God, there's so much money in this. Obviously, same thing that they did with Wonder Woman and everything. Oh my God, women want to pay to see this stuff as well as men and everybody else. It's the same thing. So, yeah, Black Panther was a big thing with this, making sure that this happened. You could see that they're trying to actually explore these different ideas now, which is great. It's great. People can actually see and identify with people on screen. It's not just, seeing the same thing, the same tropes over and over again.
Just to add on to it a little bit, Walt Disney's Animation Studios chief executive officer Jennifer Lee said it was the BBC short film about Kugali that caught their attention. She said she was intrigued by Ibrahim's ass-kicking comment. So they were, oh, you know what you should do? You should actually go to the website that they have up. I believe it's in the page as well, because that'll show you some of the beautiful
This
work
one?
that they do. Yeah, you got it.
I
Perfect.
got you, brother. I always got you.
Yeah, you got me. But I mean, they're saying their talents as storytellers blew them away. So it's great just to see this happen naturally. This is a natural occurrence where they didn't just get bought out. Basically, they were like, no, we're gonna create our own thing, and then somebody actually discovered them and actually felt like, you know what, we have been wrong for generations. Let's do what we can to fundamentally. I mean, I hate to say it, it's a woke thing to do. It's a very understanding of other communities and finally saying, no, we're not satisfied with the way that we've been doing things. Let's allow this is going to be released in 2022. So that's a pretty fast release for one of these things. Especially since I think this deal was only brokered like a week ago, 3 days ago.
This is cool.
Oh,
And
wow,
it's
that
great
looks
that
beautiful.
they finally got
That looks
something
beautiful.
like Disney's finally getting something new. You know, it's just like I think when it came to like Pixar and stuff like that, that was their last freshest thing that they had come out with when it came to animation and something being different. So now that they're having this as well, which is great that they're actually exploring new art, new animation styles too.
Some of it reminds me a lot of the Boondocks, kind of like, you know, I don't know if you agree or
I was
not.
going to say the Boondocks and Samurai Jack just
Yep,
cut
yep.
into each other.
Yep. It's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
I don't
And
know
it's
if
awesome they have these books. I'm actually going to come back and like read
Yeah,
these
they
little
got
shorts that
it's
they have here.
yeah, they got 4 free comic books, and then they got a library here, digital comic library. It's a nice little website, man.
And
Look
that
at
also
this,
tells
man.
you
Look at
so
that.
much power in Africa. I mean, that's one of we skipped the story for today about China and their interactions in rural areas with technology. But look at this. These group of what they don't look
It's
at
cool.
African as a continent, but they're from 3 different countries in Africa, and they're all like, it's difficult when it's not, your society is not built around technology, but they were like, no, we love it so much, we love what we see, so let's create something,
They got
and it's
augmented.
possible everywhere.
You see this? They got
Wow.
augmented reality
Yeah.
stuff too. Yeah, man.
Whoa, that is awesome. See, that's what I mean. Technology, once it gets around, it can really be empowering. It's so hard that we live in a society that has monopolies and stuff like that are, gatekeeping us. But
Yeah.
to see that these people went on their own and defied that reality is important. They defied the reality that you can't make it without, going up to Disney first and working for Disney for 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
They didn't go up that chain. They decided, let's create this and then blow them out of the water and force them to come to us.
Working for the rat.
This is nice. It's nice. I like when I see people collaborate together and create amazing things. You know, like whatever team they have there. I don't know much about them in general, but the end result looks beautiful. Their end result.
I'm gonna say,
looks
watch
amazing.
this break Black Panther. Let's watch this break Black Panther's records right there, because it's a cartoon coming out with Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think? How do you feel about it though? Do you feel like there is the word appropriation correct for this? Like, how do you feel? I don't know if it's considered appropriation because it's
On
usually
Disney's
another...
behalf. Yeah, like on Disney's behalf, I don't see it as appropriation, because you're actually hiring the people.
That's why I didn't know if I was
beforehand.
using the right word
Yeah.
for it. Like I'm not the most. I'm not gonna say I'm illiterate, but I'm not always great with specific words for. But how do you feel about it? Do you feel like what do you think their purpose of it is? Do you think it's just to gain a larger audience? Do you think there's like because Disney's a little shady, and their history hasn't
I'm
been
gonna
that
tell you,
great.
it's gonna be awesome. It's all about the money.
Yeah.
Obviously. Well, it's kind of like it
all
kind of
about the-
reminds me.
Yeah,
It kind of reminds me too of what was it? The Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie that they did. I think that kind of explored new art concept as well. So it's great that they're actually going into something like this. It's it's really going to be, and it does. It gives you that idea that anybody can really come up with this stuff, and that even with limits of technology, you can still achieve this. It's great. It's amazing.
Do you think that
I
they've
love how they.
changed?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Do you think that they've changed a lot from their past, like in regards to the perspective of like people of color? And because I know at Disney back in the days, there were a lot of things about people talking about, oh, Walt Disney was kind of racist and this and that and whatever else. Like, how do you feel? Like, I mean, even though you look at some of the stuff that they had, like It's a Small World and all this other stuff that they had at Disney, Walt Disney, theme parks or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Do you think that like they're kind of like waking up and maybe I wouldn't say they're woke yet, but you know what I'm saying? Do you think that some of that stuff is actually legitimately like they really want to kind of like influence people and let people see other you know what's the word I'm looking for? You know,
Just different viewpoints, and
yeah,
different perspectives,
viewpoints and
different
yeah,
people.
different people, yeah, you know, like cultures. That's the word I'm looking for. Different cultures and everything else. Do you think that they legitimately want to do that, or do you really like? Because you said money before, so I know a lot of it has to do with money. But do you think part of it still, just a little part of it, might be like they're trying to like do the right thing, or
I think people that have been fighting for it a long time in the dark heart of the mouse house have, finally gotten their point where they're like, yay, we're getting somewhere.
yeah,
But the slow wheel of the mouse wheel turning has only gotten us this far at this point. I think with everything that's happened with
Mhm.
2020, I think a lot of corporations are grabbing at trying to feel woke and to make them seem like we are not racist. We are totally about making things more progressive and this, and we want to be part because cancel culture is a big thing, and Disney doesn't want to be canceled out and claim to be racist or anything. So, a part of me is, yeah, they're big trying to
I
grab
can
at
hear you,
something.
Chuck.
But at the same time, I would hope,
There it goes.
there are people always on the inside that are always going to be wanting to make things better. But yeah, they're just doing this mostly for money, mostly to get the attention, mostly to try to say we're not racist. Don't look at us. Don't try to cancel us. We're good guys.
I want to say that this is the great thing about unintended consequences, because even if they're just doing it for the monetary reasons, they are still exposing the Kugali and this group of people. So, in some ways, the unintended consequences might be more important than the me feeling like, yeah, Disney is a kind of an evil corporation. It's you don't have to feel like it's the devil, but at the same time, Disney is ready to suck up every company that they can around them. They just have changed some of the things in their parks, like in the last year or two. This is new work for them. So I want to give them enough platitude to do the right thing,
Yeah,
but I also don't want to give them too much credit.
yeah. Time will tell, right? Like how they develop in the next
Yes.
10, 20, 30 years. I'm sure they're gonna keep going in this direction because if it's profitable, they're like, hey, why not? But
Hmm.
that's the thing about it is like you're not really gonna know how authentic it is. You know what I mean? Like whether or not they're actually caring or not, or if they're just like the dollar signs. So it is
Really,
what it
we
is.
don't have that many corporations that are anywhere near caring.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe Cheerios.